Hello and welcome to episode 7 of a TTRX. In this episode we will be welding the front panel to the wings on the front of Fiesta and fitting our arches on this front end. So I'm going to start grinding off our little edge here, just bring that back to bare metal, just so I can get a weld around the top there and a couple down the front just to hold it. Now, I know it probably shouldn't be welded at the front, but we're going for not so much a cosmetic look, just to get it done, really. Here it goes. Alright, let's get the welder. So in terms of a welder setting, I've got mine wire speed 3 and power down on 2 to weld this, and we'll see how that goes. I can always alter the wire speed as I go. Normally about 2 on a setting for this kind of work would be perfect. There's the gap. We can start at the top, hold that in, weld that, and then work our way down. I'm not going to seam weld it, just going to do a couple of inch runs down it just to hold it together and weld that bit there nicely, and then we can flush that off hopefully if it goes well. Blown a little bit of a hole. I'm going to try and fill that up. Come down onto this bit here now. Just going to tap that and make sure it's flush. That's nice. Another one in there, I think. Now that's nice and flush. So that's that side nicely stitched together. Now time to move along and do the other side. I've only got one pair of grips at the moment because the other pair is a friend of mine's window regulator. Just going to clean this up, same as what we did with the other one. here goes nothing. I'm going to tack this in place first. That should hold that, or we'll get a weld on it. There we go. Weld down there. So I've just thrown weld blanket over the engine quick. I'm just going to weld down these bits here just to hold front panel to the wings in the position that I want them in. Check my gaps are all right, and they are. So that can weld on now through there. And then we'll make a start of the wheel arches. Try and get them to fit, maybe. I mean, I want to try and pull them forward a little bit. So probably have to make some sort of template so I can make it fit this wing, because they're for a Mark 1, not Mark 2. But I'm sure we'll make it work. It will be fine, he says. Just show you what that looks like up close. So we've got a little bit of weld on there, just hold that together. We've got our welds down the front there. That one's yuck. Down onto there. This side I've gone all the way to the bottom, just to hold that. And then moving on to this side, we've got our weld up the top, like so. Near enough, missed half of it. That's one on there. One on there, one on there. I haven't done the bottom because the mole grips are stuck on the back here. I can't get them off, so I'm going to wait until the front's off to do that side and then neaten it all up. So I bought these wheel arches off of eBay and they're great and stuff, but they don't actually fit a Mark II Fiesta. So I imagine some slight alteration is needed. We've got a bit of specialness going on. I just need to neaten out that edge in there. The rest of it is pretty good. I could get all keen and measure it all out, but I think I'm just going to fit one side and then measure off of this side to do the other, because in my head that works really well. So that'll squish into there. Three hours later, I've found my safety specs, so to make sure we put them on. Wow. There's our piece of wheel arch. Probably do as a repair panel actually for a rear. Someone's car. That's that. You see we've got a lovely bit of clearance now around that wheel. Just going to move you this way a little bit. Look at that. Looking at this, it's got quite a bit of strength there, considering it's not bolted down the bottom there yet. There's quite a bit of strength in that wing still. So I'm not going to bother folding that over. I'm just going to rivet this wheel arch straight on there and leave that edge. It's going to be fine. It's never going to foul that wheel. I might change my mind on that, I don't know. I doubt it. So that pretty much needs to just continue straight down. So without this kick, I'm just going to guess. Guesswork's my best work. I'm just going to guess that that's going to be about there. So we'll put our first fixing in here. Right, that's the wrong end in there, so that's helpful. Go. Yeah, I reckon probably a couple of inches actually. Less rivets, less weight. So here's a different view of that action. It definitely has nothing to do with the fact that my phone's flat. I've had to put it closer to the ground to get it on charge. It's definitely nothing to do with that. So, time to crack on. I've been racking my brain as to what to do with this bit here. And I think what I've come up with is cutting this around here, like that, and then continuing on and just trimming the corner off that front panel completely. So here goes nothing. I'm just going to go for it and do it. done now, so just gonna quickly give you a little whirl on that. There we go. Just looks like it ties in like it should be there, rather than floating in the middle of nowhere. So that's that. Just going to measure that gap from the corner of there to the back edge of the wing, and it's actually 11 centimeters exactly, and then I can replicate that on the other side. So 11 centimeters, it has to fit where it fits up here. Can't really get that wrong, and then around the front is pretty much make it up as you go along anyway. So I'm going to mark, draw a line 11 centimeters into the wing. That's where our wheel arch needs to end. That's there. Always wear your safety specs. Alright, that's better. So we've got our wheel arches in position. I've put a wheel arch on the back just to give you a rough idea. It's not quite where it's going to sit, but it's a rough idea of where it's going to be, so you get an idea of what it's going to look like. The rear track's being widened on this. Controversial, I know, but I have my thoughts behind it. One of them being Fiesta XR2 especially, known for being a little bit tail end happy. So to try and combat the fact that we've added more grip up the front, what I'm going to do is try and widen the rear wheel width. It will look better for the arches anyway, so technically for a rear drive. Widen the wheel width at the back to try and make it more stable. Whether it works like that, I don't know, but that's the idea of testing. That's what we're going to try and figure out. So I have got, you're probably thinking, why is he taking that wheel off again? No, there's a reason behind it. I have got some, the wrong sort of socket. That worked better. That's really weird. Oh, I see. A strange end on there. Right, I have got some new wheels, but let might be a bit of a problem in terms of I may or may not have made an assumption. And as we all know, assumptions are the mother of all bad things. So we'll see. Soon be for sale a set of Superlights because they're too big. Now, I was sort of hoping I could use them. That is so close. So, are they going to work? The answer is no. Too close to the caliper. That's really annoying. So there goes that plan out the window. I think they will, however, work with our rear hub setup and the inboard discs that I plan to put on it. Because they sit in quite far from the front of the hub. And that's our problem there, is that taper. It just goes in too far. You see where it's just touched on the wheel. But with them in there, we've got a massive amount of room for our caliper, and it can go in quite far before it causes a problem on this bit here. We're going to sort out our little bits up round here. Now I've had a little think about that, and all I'm going to do is put mesh behind all the holes. I'm not going to weld anything in here because it's just going to make it too heavy. We've got good, nice bit of airflow through here to the radiator. I don't really want to put anything in the way to jeopardise that. It's only got a small rad, there's not a lot of room for a big one, so we need to get as much air in there as possible. And I'm thinking with the oil cooler being here as well, you've got oil cooler, air filter, radiator, I don't really see the need to block off that airflow. It's required, it's going to look fine. I think we're just going to go with it. So I'm running out of valuable time, so I'm going to have to sort out the fixings along the top in next week's video. I was going to go for red nuts, but I'm probably going to weld nuts on the back and just do that instead. As long as it's quick and easy to get off, that's all I'm going for. And on the wings, I'm probably going to weld the nuts on the wing side so that you literally gun them off from the inside here and then pull it straight forward and off. Need a little bit of a tidy up under the arches. I'd like to get some paint under there. So that'll be possibly the next couple of videos, and also I need to finish off winding down some welds off the roof. That needs to be put in a bit of primer as well, because that's going to end up completely rotten. So that's our finished product on the front. Obviously I said we were going to sort out some fixings and some mesh to go in the front there. Oh, look at the mess down there. Tut tut. But that's that. And there. Do-do-do-do. Ooh. So that brings us to an end of this week's video. As you can see, got our wheel arches fitted. Bit of bad news about the wheels, but I guess we'll deal with that at a later date. Probably what I'll do is use the 13s on the back and then get some different wheels for the front, whether they be like a mini light, a slightly different style or whatever, just so they can fit over that brake setup. I've been looking into it actually, and the rear brake setup, I think I'm going to go for a 2-piston radial caliper or a 2-mount caliper on the back. Where they sit slightly inboard will give us a lot more room to fit those wheels anyway, and they shouldn't be a problem. So they can go on the back, so they're not wasted. I bought them on a whim because they were cheap, and that be a lesson to me. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I should probably measure everything first and get it right. If you've managed to get this far in the video and you're still enjoying it, please give us a like and subscribe if you haven't done already. Not only that, if you're new to watching the videos, check out in the end, in the links, our previous videos, up to episode 7 now. That's impressive. I haven't given up yet. Episode 7, lucky for some, not so lucky for me on the wheels. No, thanks for watching. See you next time.